Good morning, bedheads. Coffee with Karen. Click. And Lucy. She's here today for who knows how long. So, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Karen. This is Ask the Spirit Guides. This is a little session, a little segment I do on the channel every morning, Sunday through Thursday. We have a little coffee together. We kind of talk about what's going on and hopefully bring it to center and a little bit of spiritual discussion along the way, exploration, let's just say. So grab your coffee. We're all going to be brave and go our own way as we have this conversation today. Okay, so a little housekeeping to start. First of all, if you live in Wisconsin, Florida, and where else? Where else are we voting today? There's one other state. Please be sure to vote. Let's see, Wisconsin, Florida. Where else are we voting today? Actually, there's quite a few states that have some voting going on today. So if you live, definitely, I mean, the most important ones are in Wisconsin and Florida, and there's one other one. If you guys can list it below, if you can remember. So if you live in those states, please, please, please vote and grab a car full of people to go vote as well. Okay. So Wisconsin, South Carolina's got some voting going on today, Oklahoma. So you'll have to look up Nebraska. Is it Nebraska where the Omaha primary election? Maybe it's Nebraska, Mississippi, Illinois, Florida, like I mentioned, Colorado, Alabama, and Alaska. They all of those states have something to vote on today. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Okay. And, I think I was like, what did I write down there? I got my little outline for today. So I think this is going to be very interesting. If the, allegedly, for entertainment purposes and only allegedly. So if things shake out honestly, then, and there's no interference, then it's going to be very interesting because this will be telling, especially in Wisconsin and Florida, how much MAGA has woken up to what's really going on. So I think it's just going to be a good measure for us to know. So I'm not really worried about it. At this point, it'll just be a good measure for us. Again, if things are done legitimately. So I heard, I'm not 100% correct. I didn't look this up, but I heard in Wisconsin, they're going to be hand counting. So I don't know if that's the case. I hope they do it in Florida. I think they're going to have to. So we'll see. Okay. I always going like that. Okay. So vote, vote, vote. All right. Just a reminder about what's happening astrologically right now. And I just think this is such a powerful time that reminders for me and reminders for the community can be helpful on like a more daily basis because we just sort of need the reminder that right now we are in Mercury retrograde, which can create some tension, let's just say. And I'm even noticing it in this community, like some things, we can get some comments here and there, but I'm noticing some kind of unusual things. And so I think what I'm going to do, especially for the next 2 weeks, well, between now and April 8th, so about 7 more days, is just to try to bite my tongue as much as possible. Try not to react, try to stay calm. In fact, the first message for the month for April from the spirit guides, collectively from the community spirit guides, because I asked them that, was to just stay calm. Now, if you didn't catch the March, or March, the April decoding video that we did for the first two messages. I'll post it right here. Okay, so after this video is over, it'll pop up right here. Go watch it. It's kind of fun. But the first message is just stay calm. Okay. So they work talking about us collectively staying calm of what's going on in the world, but also they could be also referencing what's going on right now between Mercury retrograde and all the different eclipse and all the moons and all the whatever, all the line, how things are lining up right now is just making everybody could be making everybody a little impatient, shall we say? So that's what it actually says in my little book here. Mercury can be a bit impatient when it's in Aries and favors practical and concise communication. Okay, so that will be so on March 29th, the solar eclipse in Aries kicks off the eclipse season. The next 2 weeks, so it was the next 2 weeks, so March 29th for 2 weeks are going to quicken and intensify everything in your life and create some tension between you and your partners in work and life. So be mindful of unnecessary aggression and impulsiveness. So I'm just going to remind us all every couple days about this, okay, for the next couple weeks, okay? Now, today is April Fool's, and I'm waiting for an April Fool's from my dad because my non-biological dad, because he was always the jokester. But did you guys know on April 1st is the day of the tarot card, the Fool or the Joker? Kind of interesting. Both cards represent absolute potential as well as a leap of faith into something new. Making this day even more magical is the continuing Mars and Saturn trine that started March 31st. Okay, that part didn't mean anything to me because I don't know astrology that well. So, but I think it's interesting that that this is April Fool, April 1st is the day of the tarot, the Fool or the Joker. Both cards represent absolute potential as well as a leap of faith into something new. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so speaking of tension and feistiness, just a few examples. So we do have a member of our community who his name is Steve, and he posts beautiful prayers for people to just give prayers. And it came into my awareness yesterday that he was being bullied on our channel by a few people. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Steve, for being here. You are a valued member of this community. And I want to say to those people who are doing that, stop it. Stop it. Don't do it here. Don't do it other places. Totally inappropriate. If you don't like what anybody says, throw away the key. If you can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. Okay. So the thing is I really have valued Steve's contributions by asking for prayers of things that are going on in the world when he does that, because I don't often know what's going on in the world. And that really helps me to say, wow, thank you for letting me know. And then I can send love that way. So I don't know. I think it has to do with Mercury retrograde. So I just don't understand, if you're offended by something, just walk away. Just walk away. I'm going to practice it too. Okay. So thank you, Steve, for being here. You are a very valued member of our community. And I thought it was funny. There's just one other little example. This was really interesting, this example. So yesterday when I did the video I'm going to post right here, I actually brought a mug to that video, which I usually don't do in my evening videos. Okay. So it was the one on decoding the April messages, the first two. And I brought a mug and I went, I just went click because I was having a little coffee actually. And somebody left a comment. Now, I don't know if this person was kind of new to the channel, because it's they must be, because they must not have seen Coffee with Karen. Anyways, so this is just interesting perspective, like how quickly we jump to thinking we know something about somebody, okay? Because they left the message that they were totally appalled by the fact that I had stolen the idea of taking a coffee cup and saying click, where somebody they know who's highly respected uses a coffee cup and I guess says sip or something. And I'm like, do you know how many people are on YouTube? Like, first of all, using a coffee mug and saying click or clink is not original. I'm just, if there are other people having coffee with you on video, it's not an original idea. I've never seen it, but if somebody does it now, don't accuse them of stealing it from me, because it's not original. You can come up with that idea on your own. It's not complicated. Anyway, so I thought, I don't even know who that person is, but they just assumed that I stole it from this person. I'm like, oh my God. Anyways, I just thought it's so interesting. It's an interesting perspective. Let's just put it that way. One, because of some of this stuff going on, but two, how many people are on YouTube anyways? I meant to look, like, how many creators are on YouTube? Like 100 million or something. I don't know. That would be a lot, wouldn't it be? Well, let's just find out. How many creators are on YouTube? Oh, Siri is, pretty useless if you ask me. They need to have access to YouTube in order to figure that out. There's got to be something on the web. So, anyways, it's got to be a lot, right? And the thing is funny is that I just started watching YouTube for entertainment literally a year ago, probably right in April. I was on YouTube doing business videos for selling digital products, but I literally never watched anybody. I never watched YouTube for entertainment. When I started watching, I was like, oh my God, there's a whole world out here. So, anyways, I just thought it was funny. So, it's just a good example, petty tyrants, right? We talked a little bit last week and the week before about petty tyrants, on how they say things to us to help us not take things personally. I didn't take it personally at all. I was more like, yeah, that's pretty ridiculous to think that you know, one, the idea is not original. So, and two, just assuming that I knew who this person was. So it's just a good example of how we want to be and not be. You know what I'm saying? So that helps me to, check in on my own behavior too. So, all right. Again, just during this time, especially, all right, it's best to just not say anything. Okay. So, the last thing I wanted to mention is we are starting this today in the Spirit Circle, which is the membership for the group. And I just did the very first section this morning. And well, some of this book is very into like let's say not intellectual, but academic, I would say. And so, but I'm going to help the group go through this, and I've kind of added some things here to help process. Because it wasn't, and I can't say it's written like great, but I think it's going to be fun and helpful. Fun, shadow work, fun. Okay, so anyways, that was a long housekeeping, but we talked a little bit about other stuff too. So let's just talk about, I'm trying to think if I should put topic starts at 4:30 or 14:30. People will probably be annoyed if I don't. Okay, 14:30. All right. It's just one of those days. I only slept for like 6 hours last night, so I'm a little. So I think it is interesting. I had like an epiphany. And I wonder if I had the epiphany because, and it has to do with empaths, me being an empath, and whether we're glutton for punishment, basically. Like I'm always like, I mean, I'm going to give you an example which will show you that I am a glutton for punishment in this particular area. Okay. Which is why that was the title of this video. Okay. And I'm wondering, where you focus is what does that say? What's that saying? Where your focus goes. I don't know. Gosh, I can't think today. Um, anyway, so it's like I've been talking about shadow work, right? And I think just because I've been mentioning shadow work, I hadn't done any like specifically, but because I had been mentioning it for the channel, I wonder if that's how I got the epiphany because it's like I attracted the epiphany, because it just really came to me really, really clear. And this is this is the story. Okay. So if you're new here, I've been talking about my biological father and I have a tricky relationship with him. Okay. I'm not going to go into the whole background, but I have a tricky relationship, mostly because he left our family when we were 5 and, I had to deal with those feelings as a kid. Okay. Depending on, my placement in the family, my personality type, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Just like we all do. All right. So he basically, I would say over the last 20 years has not put very much effort into having a relationship with me. The effort has always been me having to go to him. Okay. So let's just say that. That's the best way to describe it. Like, for instance, I always, for the last 20 years, have bought him Father's Day presents, which is fine. I'm not a father. He's my father. Birthday presents, Christmas presents. Okay. And this is very surface stuff, but he doesn't do that in return. Okay. So like I would always send him a birthday present or go to his house. We always have parties for him. No parties for anybody else, just him. And which is fine. I don't want parties, but it's like only parties for him. Like there's always parties for him. So, which is like, I mean, seriously. Um, so my stepmom would text me happy birthday. Okay. So I'd get a text happy birthday, right? So the interesting this year, if you've been following, is I have put our relationship on timeout for now because of the politics. Okay. But it's a long-standing issue between him and I. I mean, long standing. My little sister, who is 16 years younger than me, actually told me that when I would come, she was little, like 4 or 5. When I would come home when I was in my 20s, even probably earlier, like young 20s, that she would be so excited to see me. And then my dad and I would start talking about politics right away. So it's been a long time. I didn't realize that when she told me that. I was like, oh, that's so sad. So I would pay more attention to the politics with him than talking to my little sister. I'm sure I hugged her and I know I hugged her and everything, but like and then she'd go to bed and have to wait till the next day. And then we'd have talked about what we were going to talk about. But that's always how it's been. Like he would start talking to me right away about stuff. And then because he always instigates it. He's always instigated it. I would never bring up stuff, but he would poke. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd walk in the door and he would poke. So then of course you can't poke me because I will immediately respond. I immediately respond, which is one of the things that I wrote down in my weaknesses and challenges is reacting too quickly to things. So in my shadow work. So anyway, so he and I are on timeout. It may be a permanent timeout. I don't know. I have blocked his emails because it's a story. I've shared it here, but so I'm not going to go over it again, but it's not that important. But the interesting part about empaths, where I'm wondering if I'm a glutton for punishment, okay, is because, so my birthday was 2 days ago. And because I've put him on a timeout, I didn't get a happy birthday text. Okay. And it didn't actually occur to me till yesterday. So that's how much I really cared. But it just, yeah, I just went, oh, that's interesting, you know. Um, and the happy birthday texts always come from my stepmother, who I don't have a timeout issue with her, but, you know, and she's been in my life most of my life, but um, because she would, she does everything for him basically. But the interesting thing is now his birthday's coming up and my sister Marcia's coming into town. She's going to take my car, go to the birthday party. Of course, he's having a birthday party. And so I'm not going to go. But you know what I'm thinking? Like literally, actually, before my birthday, I was thinking, well, maybe I'll send him a card. Maybe I'll still send a card along. You know what I mean? Like I am constantly, and mostly with him, but I'm a glutton for punishment. It's like I will feel bad if I don't acknowledge his birthday, but he doesn't acknowledge mine, but I will feel bad if I don't acknowledge his. So you can tell. I mean, so this is, I'm actually, that was my epiphany. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So actually, them not, and actually, like them not saying happy birthday to me 2 days ago is quite helpful for me to understand this feeling and to dig into this feeling I have about needing to do that still. I still, like, as I am talking to you right now, I am like, oh, I can't not, I don't want him to, you know what it is? I don't want him to feel bad. I don't want him to feel bad. I don't even know if he will. He probably will, but, I'm assuming he will. I don't want him to feel bad. I have an issue with that. I have an issue not wanting people to feel bad, and especially him. Especially him. Because you know what? I don't really know how he feels. That's probably why. Plus, he kind of deserted our family. Not 100%. He didn't desert us 100%, but so it's always trying to live up to, and I would say he's not like F45, but he's definitely have some narcissistic, hence the birthday parties every year for him and nobody else. Um, so yeah. Anyways, kind of interesting. What do you think? Do you think that empaths in general have this issue of needing to please, not wanting to hurt people's feelings? Or is this a strong feelers, I'm going to put in quotes, issue, strong feeler in the Myers-Briggs? Or is this my life circumstances? That's kind of the question on the table for me. Is this, or is it a combination of all of those things? It's probably a combination of all of those things. So I'm wondering, because most people who find themselves in this community and hang out would be considered light workers or empaths, okay? And empaths. So I'm wondering, because, can you relate? Can you not relate? If you can, what have you done to dissolve that need? Because that's what I'm hoping to do, like clear it, just clear it, clear it, let it dissolve. And, I don't want it even to be a part of my consciousness anymore. Only because, I want to have empathy for people. I want to still care for people, of course. But why do I have the need to do that for him when he does not do it for me, right? So I think one of the things I put in one of the things in the shadow work, so it's really based on Carl Jung and his archetypes, okay? Now, and it's kind of amazing because, he was born in 1875 and his work is highly used still. So it's just kind of amazing. But so he has these 4 archetypes that if you can examine those archetypes, then you will effectively deal with your emotions, and probably, clear a lot of stuff. Okay. That's just a very simple way to say it, what I just said. But one of the things she has us do in the workbook is 5 ways we're different when we're alone than when we're with other people. Okay. And that's called the persona archetype. That's one way to get to the persona archetype. Okay. You can look that up if you want to. But so anyways, I had written down that, wait, was that in the, oh no, I actually put this in my weaknesses and shortcomings, which is the shadow archetype. Okay. So persona archetype is 1, 5 ways that you're different when you're alone, or when you're with 5 ways you're different when you're with people other than when you are alone. Okay. But the shadow archetype is one of the things I put is putting time and care into others who don't put that time and care into me, so that I put that as a weakness or a shortcoming. So putting time and care into others who don't put that time and care into me. I'm getting, this year in particular, way less tolerant of that. And it's not in a negative way. I'm just saying, I'm done with the games. Like, if you're not going to put the care into me, if you're not going to sit and listen to me and actually care about my life, even this much, then I'll just be with the people who do. I'll spend more time with the people who do that than I will, So this way, when Marcia comes in April, she'll go visit. She'll have a beautiful visit. She'll come back here and she won't have to listen to me for 3 days, try to recover from the visit. And her and I can have a beautiful visit together. Because that's usually what would happen. If I went to his house, it takes me 3 days to literally recover from it. So, all right. So what are your thoughts about empaths? Are we glutton for punishment, or is it just life circumstances? All my combination, feeler, empath, life circumstances. Just curious if you can relate to that. Okay. So the message for today from the spirit guides is, I didn't tell you we had one, but I always do now in the morning. I wanted to show you. So for those who are new, so this is a pendulum chart, let's just say. Some people call it a map. It has letters on it, numbers, okay? And you can use a pendulum like this, and it will swing. Your spirit guides will make it swing and spell out stuff for you. It's amazing. So anyways, today I was very clear. I did the law of challenge, which is making sure I'm talking to spirit guides. I called in all the spirit teams of everybody in the community, asked for a message for our highest good, okay? For our highest and best, okay? So collectively, all right, so this is a message from all of our guides together. So this is the message. So you are safe, okay? And this is a collective message for what's going on in the world, not just individually. It could be an individual. If you've had something in your mind feeling like you're not safe and you're getting this message right now, if that feels right, like if you're like, oh, thank you for the message, it can be an individual message for you too. Okay. So I said then regarding what? And they said, which is interesting, liars. So you are safe regarding liars. So then I said, why do we need to hear that? Why do we need to hear that we are safe regarding liars? And they spelled out Hague, like the Hague in the Netherlands. Okay. So if you're new here, there's a theme. There's been a theme for a couple months regarding Jack Smith and ICC, International Crime. I forgot what the last C stands for, but and the Hague, they've mentioned the Hague several times, so not surprising. So why do we need to hear this, the Hague? And then I asked, what about the Hague? And they said, coming. So yesterday, the message, wasn't the message very similar? Get my little book out here. So yesterday they said Rasputin is dead, is unalived. So that was out of the blue. I think because that incident that happened this weekend. But then a lot of people have been leaving comments that quite a few channelers have been saying that he's been unalived for a while and it's like a body double. This is, for entertainment purposes only and allegedly. So, but on the 30th, they said help is coming. Help is coming. So it's kind of like the same message, but I think they wanted to reiterate that we're going to be safe. So and that's, Mel Lawson 777. I'll post it or her channel. Anytime I talk about a channel, I post it in the description below. Okay. She has these short clips. She'll come out once or twice a day and she channels right away. Like she has a channeled message from somebody. And several times in the last 2 weeks, the message has come, stay calm, stay calm. So again, it could have to do with what's going on astrologically. So I always my bias tends to go to what's going on politically right now. So that is a bias that I have. So I'm trying to broaden that bias a little bit, that the stay calm could be other things. So because I think we're going to have to start moving in there to expand our lives a little bit. So, but when I ask specifically for a message about political, this is what I get. Okay. All right. So now I then ask them using my deck of oracles. These are all my oracle decks on these cards. And I ask them, I usually just say, give us a message, but this time I asked, what additional messages can you give us about what's coming and support for it? Because they said, the message was, what about the Hague? And they said, coming. Okay. So what's coming? Okay, the Hague is coming, but what additional messages can you give us about what's coming and support for it? So they wanted me to pull Moonology messages. Okay. So that's this deck. Moonology messages. All right, so let's see. Now that is interesting. Moonology, right? Astrology. Let's just see. Let's see what kind of additional messages we get. Okay, so I have a little prayer that I say. I've changed it recently, so I've got it written down. I'm still trying to memorize it. But it is, I close my aura, and it is written in the description below in case people like to grab it and you can use it and I'll alter it however you want, whatever feels good to you. I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, and all of those of the highest and purest light. And I ask Archangel Michael to please protect this channel, the community, and this channel, so it is only of the purest and highest light. Amen. Okay. So, and that's exactly the prayer I say before I do the pendulum or before I talk to the SGs on the dowsing rods. So if you're new here on the dowsing rods, okay. Okay. So let's see. Thank you for hanging in there with me today. I feel like this was very disjointed. It took me 15 minutes to go through housekeeping, but I mean, it wasn't really housekeeping. Some of it, I just, I guess we talked about astrology, so that wasn't really housekeeping. Okay. One last little shuffle. All right. So what additional messages can you give us collectively for the community here? Now, you might get them if you have questions in your own life right now. You might get the answers to them in these cards as well. Okay. So what additional messages can you give us about what's coming and support for it? Okay. Thank you. That one really popped out. This one kind of wanted to. No. What additional messages can you give us for what's coming and support for it? Anything else? Oh, thank you. Those really popped. Okay, so let's just see. I've got 4 cards. I'm assuming this first one is going to be a definite because that one just popped right out of there. All right. Okay, so do we have the cards you want us to have in front of me? Yes. Is there anything else in the deck that you want me to pull? No. Okay. Let's start from the right. The first card. Yes. The second card. No. The third card. No. And the fourth card. Yes. Okay. So the first and the fourth. Okay. So basically these three cards popped out together, and this was the card they wanted me to have. This was the card that originally popped out. Okay. So that's kind of how I do that. Okay. So we have two messages today that maybe, hopefully we can relate them to, the be safe, the Hague is coming. Like, what are they trying to tell us? Okay. So let's see. Let's go with the first card that they pulled. Oh, okay. Let's see what you see. Again, this is Moonology. Now, the message was, you are safe. You are safe. So if you're not believing you're safe, this will be very helpful for you. Okay. Okay. So abundance. Abundance. I'm not sure how to say that, moon, but I will read it out of the book. Okay. Domicile. Okay. And then this one, oh, got it. I just picked up the two together. Okay. What do you see there? See a blood moon too, which just happened a couple weeks ago. This is courage. Okay. Abundance of courage. That's how I see it. Okay. So let's see. Abundance. I think it's domicile, right? I could have it pronounced, have Google pronounce it for me. Let's see if there's any words in here I'm not going to be able to pronounce. Okay. About this symbol. Okay, so this is interesting. Throughout this deck, we can see the moon representing our emotions. Sometimes the condition of the moon is challenging, and therefore our situation is challenging. And sometimes everything is as it should be, as with this card, which represents the moon in Cancer. Okay, so right now they're trying to say sometimes everything is as it should be. Okay, so if you're really, really still challenged by the circumstances of what's happening and haven't been able to get to the bigger picture of it, then this is just a little bit more encouragement to say, you are safe, that everything is as it should be, surprisingly, right? Okay. So expect abundance, and abundance of good things in all shapes and forms. It seems you've found your place in life. You feel at home in your current situation, or even if you don't quite feel at home yet, good things are coming. When the moon, as well placed as she is in this card, an abundance of loveliness must surely follow. Remember that abundance follows your frequency. When you draw this card, it suggests you've tapped into the right frequency to match whatever it is that you want to achieve. That's awesome. Okay. Now remember, I pulled these for a collective message about more information about why they're telling us you are safe. Okay. So I think this is actually a really hopeful sign that a lot of us in the community, in the spiritual community, are able to start raising our vibration more than we had been maybe in January, because we maybe are starting to see how this can unfold better than if Harris had won initially, because, well, that's a whole story. I've been talking about it from here and there. So just give that some thought. But hopefully that's a little bit that maybe we are generally together raising our frequency a little bit. That doesn't mean I don't come down and up and down, up and down, up and down, Okay, so courage. All right. Let me know what you're seeing in the cards and how you're interpreting them based on this message. You are safe, liars, Hague, coming. Okay. I kind of saw it right away, an abundance of courage. All right. So a blood moon happens at the time of a total lunar eclipse, which is exactly what we had a couple weeks ago. The moon appears to turn deep dark red because she's being lit up by light that's passed through the Earth's atmosphere. Additional meanings for this card: do some shadow work. A change is coming. A change is coming. I'll read the additional. That's actually way more interesting than what I read. I will read the additional meanings on the other card. Don't cling on to the past. Okay, these are great. These are the best messages for this. Do some shadow work, which is cracking me up. A change is coming. Don't cling on to the past. A portal of opportunity is opening up. Leave the past behind now for your own good. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful message on that. Let me go back to the abundance and read the additional messages because that was really helpful. Okay, the additional messages here. Let's see if it's as helpful. Take a trip home. That's funny since I was just talking about not going home from. You fit right in. It's time to express your full potential. Home is where the heart is. Stay where you are. So that's interesting. So if you're already home, stay where you are. I'm home. So that is interesting in terms of this message. You are safe. Something's coming. It's kind of telling us, at least I'm interpreting in that way, home is where the heart is, meaning stay home. You are safe. You fit right in. It's time to express your full potential. Home is where the heart is. Stay where you are, which is kind of interesting. Stay where you are. So let me know how you interpret those. Okay, well, have an amazing day, and maybe you'll join me for premiere 7 p.m. Central tonight for a video. And I think we'll be talking to the SGs tonight on some topic. I'm not going to say which one because sometimes I change my mind and then people are like, what? You changed your mind. Okay, so have a fantastic day and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.